Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
He's not singing on this EP. You ruined me last one. Thank you.
Oh, I love space and science fiction. And so does my good friend Brian Nixon. And he's going to sell me a rocket. I'll put my spacesuit on and go into orbit. 'Cause space is ace. Oh yeah, space is ace. And when I get to space, I'll contact an alien race. And I'll go down in history as the very first man to have tea with E.T. Oh, space is ace. Let me out. Oh, space. Let me out. Oh, planets. Oh, Frank, what do you want now? Hey, I was wondering, can I come to space with you, Frank, please? No, you can't come. Why not? Because you just would not appreciate it. I would, you know. Because everything in space is absolutely fantastic. I don't believe you, you know. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you my photographs when I get back. 'Cause space is ace. Space is moving. Oh, space is ace. And I wouldn't go with you because it's absolutely bogus.
Oh, space is ace. It's really ace. Thank you. It's a science special this evening, which is in complete contrast to Wednesday's show. Good evening, dear listener. Because Wednesday's show is a flat Earth special. I know, it's exciting. We've got both ends of the spectrum. There are flat earthers all over the globe. Wednesday, we've got a flat earther coming on to explain why she thinks the Earth is flat. So I can use tonight to get a little bit of ammunition to help back me up. Do you remember the other week? I was banging on that I took my boys to see a science show. Half term is it's always difficult, and I always leave half term and holidays and Easter holidays too late, and I try and book up stuff that for which there are no tickets left. But got the last 3 tickets pretty much for this guy called Mark Thompson, who does a science show, and he takes it around. It's aimed at younger people. But as I said, I think I was the most impressed there. It was me constantly going, oh my gosh, look at that. And he takes the show all over the place, and he does all kinds of things, which we will find out about in a bit. But it was, honestly, it was the most entertaining hour I've seen. And I take the kids to see lots of shows, and we go and see plays and stories and all these kind of things. It was such a good hour, in that it was, like, informative, but without, being preachy. And it wasn't patronising. There was no patronising. There was no, okay, kids. And you don't get that too often these days when you go and see children's theatre. You don't get it too often, but every now and then you'll get something you think, talk to them like they're adults, because kids are a lot cleverer than we give them credit for. And this show was absolutely superb, and I know he does shows all over the place. If you get the chance to see Mark Thompson, I thoroughly recommend it. Anyway, he's on the show now. Evening, Mark.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very, very well. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for such an amazing introduction. I was thinking, this sounds like a good show. I might take my kids.
I might go and see it. My boys absolutely loved it, but it was mainly me that was... and you did comment on it during the show. I don't know if you knew it was me.
I do remember someone shouting quite loudly, a man shouting quite loud in the auditorium, but it was you.
It was me, Mark. It was me.
My goodness, there's always one adult that does it.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. How did you get into doing these? Let's go back a bit. How did you get into, like, sciencey type stuff?
All right, so I got into sciencey stuff. I was 10 years old, so a fair few years ago now, and I was taken, probably a bit kicking and screaming by my dad, to the local astronomy society. I don't think I had any real interest in science and astronomy at the time. And I think he was the one who wanted to go, so he needed an excuse, so I was his excuse, and he dragged me along to the local astronomy club, where we saw Saturn through a telescope, and I was utterly hooked, and that was the the moment, and I can still vividly remember that moment even now.
Isn't it funny that a day out for your dad, but that can start a whole lifetime for a child. It's just letting kids see as many different things as possible, and one of those things, hopefully, will stick and will take seed.
Yeah, no, totally. One of the one thing that I learned, well, not just the one thing, I learned a few things, I'm sure, from my parents, such as blow my nose and wipe my bum.
Yeah.
But the one thing I really learned from that is to give kids a chance to explore the world and kind of find their own way a little bit, but give them exposure to stuff. And if you give kids exposure to stuff, they might find something that amazes them. Crikey, it's turned into my career, so how lucky am I?
So what's the day job? Is the day job doing those shows?
Yes, well, it's that. It's not just theatre, but it's writing books. I've written astronomy books. It's doing TV, so I do work on Good Morning Britain, on This Morning, and a few other shows, and of course wonderful radio shows like your own.
May God bless you.
Yeah, this is kind of just knocking around doing what I can.
How did the kids shows come about? And I say kids shows, and there will be some people who hear the word kids shows, and they will think of that slightly patronising.
Yes.
And it's not at all. I could honestly, Mark, I could have sat there without my boys, and I would still have. I would have learnt stuff, and B, I would have been impressed. Because you kind of present it. You certainly present bits of it like a magic show.
Yes.
But it's science,
Yeah. Do you know the way I kind of got into it? So obviously I started doing lectures, and the word lecture instills a fear of sort of tedium and monotony in many people. So I started doing lectures when I was probably about 20 years old or thereabouts, public lectures, lectures to other astronomers, and that sort of evolved a little bit into doing more public facing astronomy lectures, but I wanted to make them a bit more than just a lecture and want to turn it into a show. So I started injecting a few experiments, a few demonstrations into the shows, but first and foremost they were still lectures with loads of pictures on the screen, lots of heavy detail, but I wanted to get to kids. And I suppose it wasn't so much about kids, but I want to get to people who perhaps got bored at a lecture, but I want to get to them and show actually science can be fun. And so I actually got my inspiration, can you believe, at the Edinburgh Fringe, and I saw this bloke called the Bubble Man.
I think I'm going to see him in the Easter half term.
Love it.
Yeah,
You'll love it.
Yeah.
So he inspired me amazingly. So I saw an hour of a man blowing bubbles, and it sounds. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing that a grown man should watch and subsequently enjoy. But I watched it. It was like, God, this man is amazing.
Yeah.
And he was doing all sorts of different things with bubbles, and it was good fun. And I thought, you know what, I want to do this, but with science.
Yeah.
So I went away from that Edinburgh Fringe a couple of years ago now, thinking I'm going to construct a show based on science experiments, not just aimed at kids particularly, but, the great thing about science, if you're trying to get to a public audience, then if you aim it at kids, then adults will get it as well. I use my mum as a great measure. So my mum knows nothing about science. I think if my mum can get it, then kids can get it, and so can other adults can get it as well, who've not necessarily got a science background. So it's aimed at beginners, people who've got an interest in science, want to see something amazing, want to be a bit entertained, and just throw an hour's worth of fun science demonstrations in, and, it's a winning combination.
It's that thing. I wish I'd had science teachers like you, because I had a chemistry teacher who was a bully, was an absolute bully. I had a physics teacher who was very wet and was really uninspiring.
You didn't get the same school as me, did you? They sound like the same teachers.
And even as a teenager, I knew that physics had the potential to be amazing, but we just had a teacher who was like a wet blanket, and so there was none of that. There was none of the amazement or excitement that carried across. And I think that's... I mean, listen, I'm an old man now. I don't know if teachers are still like that. But I do worry that there are amazing things like plays or science or whatever that with the wrong teachers, they become dull and insipid and boring.
Yeah, absolutely. You can say that about all sorts of things, not just the education system, but anywhere where you're being taught something. Someone can be so dull and and just not enthused about the subject. But, there are some wonderful teachers out there. Let's not knock them too much.
No, of course, not all of them, of course.
But of course, the other thing is that the teachers have to focus on grades and all that sort of stuff. What did I do for now? I just threw lots of exciting things at kids. Yes, you would have learned some stuff.
Yeah.
But mostly, you came away with a feeling of, wow, science is cool, science is fun. I want to learn more, and of course that's what teachers can now do, is can build on that and try and develop it.
It was, yours was a show first, but I mean, how many experiments are in there? There's about 30 or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think is about 24.
Yeah, it's packed.
It's hard work.
I know.
I'm absolutely knackered at the end of it.
What was funny is because I said to my boys, right, well, he's done now. Will we get to see him? Oh no, he's going to get ready. He's got to do another show in an hour's time.
So that when I do 2 shows in a day, I finish it and I'm totally and utterly drained. So I spend about a couple of hours getting everything set up.
Yeah.
Then I do the show for an hour. Then I'll probably get to sit down 15 minutes while the audience is leaving. Then I'm back straight onto stage, clearing up and preparing for the next one, which can take, depending how quick I am, maybe another hour and a half. And then it's another hour's show, and then another sort of hour and a half, packing it all away again. It's absolutely shattering.
It is. Now you didn't know this. This wasn't, because I've got a blue tick or anything. But you got my boy up on stage.
Yes, that was pure fluke.
Yeah,
a pure fluke.
And what I was very proud, because both my boys, that one, the eldest one, is the one that's quite geeky and quite sciencey.
Yes,
and he likes putting his hand up. And my youngest, who's 5, always says, I don't want to go up on. Whenever we go to a theatre or a film, I don't want to go up on stage, Daddy. I said, it's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Your show was the first show where my youngest put his hand up.
Did I? Was it youngest?
No, you picked the eldest.
Oh,
but no, it's fine. But it was the first time my youngest has put his hand up.
Oh, how wonderful!
I said, I thought you didn't want to go up. He said, no, but I like this man.
Oh, how lovely!
No, it was a real turning point. So thank you. Wow. But my eldest went up. And I was so proud of him because when he had to do an experiment where he had to stand still.
Yes, that's right. Yes, we were generating vortexes, weren't we, with dustbins and that's right. Yeah.
And I was so proud of him. A, because he stood still, and B, you said, right, you got 10 seconds now. You can have a little wiggle. And he did the most ridiculous, stupid dance, and the whole theatre burst into laughter. And I was so proud of my little.
Do you know?
boy.
I think that's because most of us, and certainly blokes of a certain age, we could have seen ourselves up there doing that same stupid dance when someone said you can just let it go for a little bit. I don't know what I would have done if somebody said that to me.
But he was playing it for a laugh. I was so proud of him.
He did really well. It was great.
It was great. And an hour is a long time because they're kids of all different ages there.
Yeah,
my youngest is 5, but I saw kids that were a lot younger and kids that were a lot older. And to keep that wide age range occupied for a full hour it's a tough gig. I've done shows for kids. It's a tough gig. And you did it. You did it.
I mean, yes, but I've got, the subject matter does lend itself very well to being very visual.
Yep.
Quite engaging as well, because there's lots of stuff going on, loud noises, bright lights, and all sorts of different things going on. And it's very difficult if you're just talking to people to keep the enthusiasm there.
Yeah.
But because there's just so much stuff going on, I kind of just have to keep moving things along. I'm almost like a compere more than actually doing the show itself. I'm just kind of letting the science be the thing that keeps people interested and engaged.
Lots of fire.
Yes, quite a lot of fun, and I've not lost a theatre once.
I was wondering, do venues get a little bit nervous when you rock up with a record player that you're going to put a fire on and explosions and all kinds of things?
So about a week before I go to a venue, I send over a document which has got about 50 pages of risk assessments, of chemical and hazardous substance reports and all sorts of different things. So basically, I send them everything they need before they ask me. I send them in most cases they take one look at it and think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do read them. Most places have will often come out and ask me a couple of questions. And actually, wow, they have read it. That's always takes me back a little bit. But yeah, I'm dealing with dangerous chemicals and doing dangerous things in a public place with lots of audience members there, and of course, I don't want anyone to get hurt, and I don't want anything to get ruined or destroyed. So, I've got to be really, really careful, because some of the stuff I do is actually pretty dangerous.
The two things that I came away... I've got some questions from my boys and from Catherine's daughters. I don't quite know how... Well, I know... OK, we'll see how we get on with them.
You're worrying me now.
My boys are nuts. My eldest is now... He was completely inspired, and he's just gone out. A friend of him lent us one...
What's he done?
No.
Has he blown something up or blown someone up?
He's blown the car up.
Oh,
no,
Lord.
He's a friend of him lent him a DVD, and he's now just gone and we bought the whole box set for him. Bang Goes the BBC series.
Yeah, Bang Goes the Theory.
And he's loving that, because it's a similar kind of thing with explosions and stuff. Yeah. But the two things I learnt, that I came away from your show with, and I've been telling everybody about this. I said it on the radio.
I hope you learned something that's right.
No, let's see. Pyrex is invisible in vegetable oil.
Yes.
That's insane!
Yes, it's amazing to do, isn't it? It looks wonderful, doesn't it?
Well, I'm ruining that. But you pull out something that's from a bowl of vegetable that's made of Pyrex. We couldn't see it. There's a camera on it.
Yes.
You put it back in and it disappears.
Yes.
And I've been watching videos of it on YouTube. Loads of videos.
How wonderful. So spoiler alert if anybody is planning on coming to see the show anywhere. The science behind that, and it is quite good fun. You know, when I explained this to you in the show, if you've got a straw that's in a glass of water, the water and the air bend light differently. Yeah. So the straw looks like it's bent as it comes out of the water. What we did with the bowl of vegetable oil will bend light, and Pyrex will bend light. And if you have the two items so the Pyrex item, in this case test tube, inside a bowl of vegetable oil, you just can't see it.
It's incredible.
It's like a cloaking system.
Amazing. Guys, honestly, try it at home. And the other thing, and I've not tried it, my wife did and she didn't get it to work, but I want to do it under...
Super cool water. I followed the tweets with some amusement.
It's amazing. You explain it, because I tried to explain it on the radio and I sounded like a blithering idiot.
Why don't you try and explain it? This could be comedy gold.
You basically...
All right, let me tell you then. Let me tell you. Okay. So the freezing point of water, we all know, is 0 degrees.
Yes.
You cool water down to 0 degrees, it goes hard, it turns into ice.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if water is kept in very special conditions, you can cool the water down to lower than 0 degrees, and it's still liquid, it's still runny, as we understand water to be, yet it's lower than 0 degrees. And that's called super cooled water. If you add salt to water, it lowers the freezing point of water, so you can get it all to stay as a liquid. Now, what I did in the show is I had a bucket full of ice, water and salt, and I put a bottle of mineral water inside the bucket. Yeah. And what that did, of course, it meant the mineral water was very pure, had no impurities in it, so nothing for the ice to form around. It cooled down the bottle of mineral water to lower than 0 degrees. I think it's about -7 degrees. But if you take that mineral water out really carefully and pour it onto an ice cube or anything else, which is a little bit rough, which certainly works best, then it instantly freezes. And you saw in the show, you saw it turn into a tower of ice. And you can do the same thing. Just stick a bottle of mineral water, still mineral water, doesn't work with fizzy, still mineral water in your freezer for a period of time, as yet to be determined by your good lady wife.
Well, she tried it for 45 minutes. No, you've got to go for the full 2 hours, surely.
Well, it depends on the temperature of the freezer.
Yes, I don't think
it might just need to be half an hour, it might need to be 2 hours, it might need to be 4 hours. And I've got a pretty manky old freezer, so it might need to be quite a long while. But if you just leave a bottle of mineral water in the freezer, if you take it out and it's frozen, then obviously it's too long, so you have to have another go with a different bottle of water and start again. But get it so it's still runny, get it out, pour it on ice cube, and it turns into a tower of... It's amazing.
I came, when I saw Catherine, my producer, the next day, I said, I've just seen this amazing thing. Oh, he does all this. And she didn't believe me until I showed the video. And you've got videos on YouTube, haven't you, of it?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've got a few of them there.
I'm going to delve in. I don't know where to go. Let's go. We've got a caller.
Okay.
Alan.
Hip, hip, hip.
Good evening, Alan. You're through to Mark. Now, you've got a sciencey type question, but I don't know if Mark's going to be able to answer this, so let's see.
Is time travel really possible?
Is time travel really possible, Mark?
Can I answer that? Of course I can answer that.
Yes!
Yeah, even at 20 past 10 at night. So, is time travel possible? So, going forwards in time, yes, because we are all
doing it all the time.
We're going forwards in time at a rate of 1 day per day. If we were to talk about travelling backwards in time, that's a little bit harder. So there is a scientific concept known as time dilation, and essentially if you travel really, really fast, even if you travel at speeds in excess of the speed of light, so if you travel at speeds like 90% of the speed of light, even faster, then you could in fact make time go backwards. The theory says that if you travel at the speed of light, time will stand still.
Wow.
And if you travel faster than the speed of light, then time will start to go backwards. So in principle, yes, you can. In fact, there's been wonderful demonstrations where we've had two human twins.
Yeah.
One has stayed on the Earth, the other one has been on board a spacecraft. They've in fact been up in the space station recently.
Yeah.
And one of them has aged more than the other one because the passage of time has been different, because one's been in space travelling around the Earth really, really fast. So it's a real thing. We can effectively travel through time.
Hang on, so the person on the space station is considered to be younger?
Yes. because they were travelling faster. So it's all down to relativity as well.
Yeah, of course.
The age, or based on someone observing something else, and how. But the kind of the days of time travel where you can hop into your spaceship, and then travel back in time. That's a little bit harder. But there are some wonderful theories again where you perhaps might be able to take, if you could harness a wormhole, pop it into a particle accelerator, make it go around really, really fast, then you could have two wormholes, one in the real universe and one that's in your particle accelerator, and you could use that as like time portals and travel through time with
I just caught myself when you mentioned relativity. I went, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like I knew what I was talking about.
It's difficult stuff. Science and relativity, it all gets really, really hard. But the principles are time slows down the faster you go. That's a known scientific fact. So if you can travel faster than light, then you could, in theory, travel backwards in time. However, that's quite challenging to be able to achieve that.
It's the amount of energy that's required.
Well, it does, yeah. So you need to, so again, one of the annoying aspects of science is if you're travelling faster and faster and faster, you get more and more massive.
Yeah.
So the nearer you get to the speed of light, you actually need an infinite amount of energy to accelerate even further.
Alan, if you could go back in time, Alan, where would you go?
I'll probably go to 1839.
Wow, do you mean 20 to 7?
No, the year 1839.
That's very specific, Alan. What happened then?
The creation of the Grand National.
Wow.
Alan's quite obsessed with the Grand National, so that would he'd go to the premier Grand National. Hey, how exciting was that NASA announcement last week about the planets they've discovered?
Are you talking to me or Alan?
I'm talking to you now, Mark.
Me again, yes. So, no, it was very exciting. So because we've got 8 planets in our solar system, which we all know about and learned at school, but we know there are about 3,000 other planets around other star systems. 3,000 other planets. Now, that means that I think the chances of life existing elsewhere are getting higher and higher.
It's kind of all, say mathematical certainty, but the odds are there must be something out there.
There's got to be. We're finding, not near every day, but certainly very, very often, we're finding that the conditions for life to evolve are more and more common than we first thought in the universe. So, the planets that NASA talked about that they discovered are Earth-like planets, and they inhabit this wonderful region around a star called the Goldilocks zone. Because cast your mind back, as a child, used to read the Goldilocks story, where the 3 bears and the porridge was first it was too hot, then it was too cold, but then it was just right. And the Goldilocks zone around a star is the region where the conditions are just right for liquid water to exist, and that suggests, of course, if liquid water's there, then there's a fighting chance that life could exist as well. So we found these 3 planets like Earth in the Goldilocks zone around another star, so there's a good chance that if life has evolved, then they may well perhaps be. I don't know, it's not evidence yet, but it's just telling us that the conditions for life are more and more common the more we look.
So excited. Right, we're going to delve into the questions. We're going to start with one from one of Catherine's kids. Let's have a little listen to this.
Hey Mark, how come if I eat an apple at another end of the tube, my mum can hear it at the other end? Listen.
So this
awesome sound effects.
Yeah, I know. So this is they were Catherine and is that Biggin or Littleton? That's Biggin. Okay, Catherine and Biggin, and they're about the same age as my kids. Were playing around with a long cardboard tube.
Oh,
and
I see.
It amplified the noise down the tube.
Yes.
How comes?
It's because the tube worked as a sort of to use a posh sciencey engineering-y type word, a conduit, for want of a better description. So if you were to try and throw a ball down a tube, the ball would bounce against the sides.
Yeah.
But in the same way, the sound bounces along the inside of the tube, and it gets sent all the way down the tube to the other end. So it doesn't amplify it, but it carries it further.
Okay, right. I'm worried that let's see what this. I think this is from my.
Why
eldest.
are you worried?
Because my boys.
Oh, have you heard this before?
Here's the one that I'm holding back on.
Mark, can you make cheese disappear?
Can you make cheese disappear,
Mark? Yes, I can.
Okay, that's the answer to that. Thank you. Right.
It doesn't work on the radio very well, however.
It doesn't work. Right.
Let me show you now. Carry on.
Daddy can make cheese disappear as well. Right, this is from my eldest.
Hello, Mark. I really liked your show, and this is a question. Can you make a potion that can explode things? Bye-bye.
Well, I think we know you can explode things.
Yes, I absolutely can. I can't give any details because then I'd probably have the anti-terrorist police on my case. But yes, of course, I can make stuff that explodes things.
What is the biggest? What is the biggest explosion you've ever made?
Well, it has to be the good old hydrogen balloon, doesn't it? Hydrogen's a gas that kind of wants to steal stuff from other gases, wants to steal electrons from other gases, and as a result, it makes it very reactive, and that's why we use it as a rocket fuel. So by getting a balloon full of hydrogen gas and then putting a match to it, when the hydrogen gas and the oxygen in the air all meet and mix, you get this massive, great explosion. So I've done it in some fairly whopping great sized balloons before, and they give this amazingly huge
You did
fireball.
that as part of the show. You had a helium balloon, and it's like a bang, and then you had the hydrogen balloon, and you
just boomed, doesn't it? It was amazing. First time I did it, frightened the life out of me.
It was brilliant. And you're saying, right, everyone, you've got to put your hands over your ears. We're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, my God!
Yeah, but when you stand as close as I do as well, you feel the shock wave, and you feel the heat from the fireball as well. I mean, it's not theatre and theatrical effect that I stand there with a pole with a candle attached to the end of it. It's because I don't want to be that close to it when it goes boom.
Has it ever gone wrong? And when I say wrong, I don't mean, that the water didn't freeze or something. Has the fire ever got out of control or an explosion gone too badly on the stage?
No, the only time I've had a slight hiccup, and it was nothing more than really a slight hiccup. I was the elephant's toothpaste demonstration where you mix hydrogen peroxide, which is the stuff that bleaches hair, although I've got a stronger version of it. If you mix hydrogen peroxide with potassium iodide, what it does is it releases all of the oxygen gas that's locked up in the hydrogen peroxide, and then because you've chucked a load of washing up liquid in the mixture as well, that traps all the air all the oxygen that's being produced, and you get loads of bubbles. Now, there was this is one of the shows it up at the Fringe a couple of years ago, and there must have been some impurities in the water, and instead of just producing this lovely sort of jet of foam, it almost just kind of exploded out the top of it. I mean, it looked amazing, but it actually hit the roof of the theatre as well. It's like, oh no, how did it get up there? So it looked quite cool.
Mark, listen, stay there. I've got to take a break. When we come back, we're gonna find out about your trip to the Arctic.
Brilliant.
We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna find out. I've got a couple more questions. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Evening, dear listener. Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We're joined by Mark Thompson at People's Astro. If you want to follow him on Twitter, he's a scientist and an astronomer, and he's an all-round brain box and does excellent shows for young people. How are your knees doing, Mark?
Do you know, not too bad now.
What happened? You had to have them all done, didn't you?
Yeah, so probably a year and a bit ago now, I was skiing. I was quite new to skiing, so it was quite a new activity for me. I went to Andorra for a skiing holiday, and I was like James Bond down. I only fell over a few times, and then I came back to the UK, went to an indoor ski centre, and I fell down on the way down the slope. I wasn't going fast. I think I just hit a lump of snow. I think I was turning to the left, and I kind of twisted my left leg, so the bottom of my leg went in one direction and the upper bit went other direction, which is not to be recommended.
No,
because
that's not the technique.
My anterior cruciate ligament, and I felt it go ping in my knee, and my knee felt all wobbly, and it was really sore for a while. And of course, like all blokes, I kind of whinged moaned quite a lot. So I had surgery just before Christmas, 22nd of December, and I've been going through the motions of lots of rehabilitation, lots of exercise.
This is why I would never go. I'm a tall, lanky man, and this is why I've never. Skiing doesn't appeal to me because my legs. I know my legs would just snap.
I don't. Being tall and lanky isn't a problem. One of the problems that I've got is I'm a bit bendy, so I'm a bit hypermobile, I think they call it. And if your legs bend a little bit more than as is normal, then they've got less protection, and so your legs will bend a little bit further than they should do, and that's when ligaments tend to snap. So I'm a bit more susceptible to it.
Your legs are quite important because you're off on a special adventure.
I am. So a very good friend of mine, Hannah Fospero, who you may have recognised as a TV presenter, wonderful TV presenter. She cajoled me. It didn't take a lot of cajoling, to be fair, to go along on an Arctic experience.
See, that
she's
sounds.
organising.
That sounds. Well, it sounds cold. That sounds terrible. Why?
It is. Well, she's doing it to raise money for Bernardo's, a wonderful children's charity doing loads of really good work around the country.
Yeah.
And she's one of their ambassadors, and so she was organising this Arctic thing to raise the awareness and to raise funds for the charity. And I'm going along with her. Unfortunately, it coincided about 12 weeks after I had my knee operation, so I've had to work really hard to get my knee back up to scratch.
And so how does it work? What are you doing?
Well, we're doing a number. Most of the details, to be honest, I'm not sure about. I've got about 100 pages of stuff to read to find out exactly what's going on. I know I'm flying out of Heathrow Airport on Tuesday next week, I think it is.
Yeah.
And we are going. And I think we're flying into Finland, Helsinki, and then going from somewhere from there. And we'll be doing some cross-country skiing, which I've never tried. I've done downhill, which makes me sound quite exciting, but I'm not that good, clearly. So we'll be doing some cross-country skiing. We'll be doing some snowshoe walking, some husky sledging.
That I could do. I could do the husky sledging, yes.
Well, and building an igloo, which I believe we even sleep in as well at some point, probably at night. I would presume.
Do you know what? I don't normally, but I bunged you a few quid because I thought anyone that can that can keep my boys entertained for an hour and inspired
and keep them standing still for 5 minutes.
Keep them standing still, and also the eldest is. I think something has clicked with him after as a result of seeing your show.
Oh, wow.
So I'm happy to put a few quid in your pocket if people want to donate, and of course it's a very brilliant charity as well. How do they go? How do they do it?
Well, we have got a Just Giving page set up, but I can't remember the link. So if you go to my website, which is markthompsonastronomy.com, which is probably easy to remember, then you will find a link on the very front page, big red button that takes to the Just Giving page where you can donate anything, even a penny would help.
It's all good. It's a good. When we finish in a couple of minutes, Mark, I'll tweet the link for all of that. Right,
fabulous.
We've got 2 more questions. Right now, is this from your Little un, Kath? This other question. This is from Kath Little. Here we go.
Is Kath your imaginary friend?
Kath does not exist. Kath is not a real person. Okay. Here we go.
Hey, Mark. Is it true that we're all made out of lots of bits of stars?
Is it true we're all made out of lots of bits of stars? That's a good question.
That is a brilliant question, and she's absolutely right. We are all made of bits of stars. So when the universe formed 13, 14 billion years ago, it was mostly made of hydrogen. That was the only gas that was there. But inside us, there's things like carbon, oxygen, silicon, all sorts of different things. Some people got more silicon than others. And so all these heavy elements that exist in our bodies that had to come from somewhere, and the place that makes those heavy elements are stars. So throughout the process of a star's life, even our sun, it's turning hydrogen into helium and helium into those heavier elements. So every atom that's inside our bodies has been made inside a star, and at some point the star will have died, blown up, and all that material thrown out into space. So you can either say that you're made of stardust, which is really quite lovely and romantic, or if you're a scientist, you'd say you're made of nuclear degenerate matter, which isn't really quite as nice.
Of course, in the Joni Mitchell song Woodstock, they sing "We are stardust, we are golden."
They do.
You can't sing "We are."
Nuclear degenerate. There's not enough
syllables.
syllables.
Not quite as catchy.
No.
Right,
maybe we should do a different one with the alternative lyrics.
Scientifically accurate.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of which, have you heard the They Might Be Giants album? Science is Real.
No.
Oh, mate, get it. They Might Be Giants, who had a big hit with Birdhouse in Your Soul. Every now and then they'll release albums for younger people. And they did a
for me, for example.
Well, yes, exactly. You're a younger person.
Kind.
And they did an album called Science is Real. And all of the songs are about science. And they've got 2 songs on what the sun is made of, because
there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, aren't they have, well, I can't remember, it's so long since I've listened, but one theory, then the next song is saying, actually, that theory in the last song is a bit old and a bit out of date.
Yeah, okay.
And this is a new theory about what the sun is made of.
Yeah. I'll download it. I've never heard of it before. But I'll be on it.
Mate, do it, honestly. Right, this is the last question. This is from my youngest, and I apologise in advance.
Mark, please, can you make a pot of liquids and you have blue dye, and then you put the dye into the liquid, and then it makes the water blue and red.
Wow, that is very descriptive, isn't it? So there how do you answer that? So there is a really good. The funny thing, of course, all these kids are in bed now, aren't they? They're asking all these questions.
I'll have to play this bit to the boys tomorrow. So
yes, there's a wonderful experiment called the iodine clock. So there's a chemical called iodine, and it's this rather remarkable chemical reaction that takes place where you kind of mix up a few chemicals, and you kind of end up putting one cup of coloured chemicals into the other cup of coloured chemicals, and then after period of time, it's only about 20 seconds,
Yeah.
it just suddenly clears. It's not a process where the liquid clears as you pour one into the other one. You pour one liquid into the other liquid, and then after about 20 seconds, it just suddenly goes clear. And that's a pretty wacky experiment. So get them to search that on the web. It's brilliant.
Mark, final thing. We have a recurring theme on this show. Are you aware of the flat Earth phenomenon?
Yes.
Can
I come back on Wednesday and talk to these lovely people? Please let me. Please let me.
We've had a few flat earthers come on. Now, my thoughts on flat earthers. Yeah. It's a really fun argument to have, to take the view that the Earth is flat, and to if you take the point that all of the pictures from NASA are fake, and it's a fun argument to have as an exercise in arguing. Okay,
yes.
So I think some of them are doing it as a sport.
Okay.
I think some of them, including the young lady we have on Wednesday, genuinely believe the Earth is flat, and they think it's NASA, that only the American government know what's beyond the North Pole and all of this stuff. Is there a really simple thing I can say to a flat earther?
Yes.
That is a simple fact that will prove that the Earth is round?
Yes.
Go on.
Look at the moon during a lunar eclipse. So, a lunar eclipse. You thought it was going to be a nice quick answer.
No, this is great.
Go on. An eclipse of the moon happens when the Earth sits directly in between the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
And you will see the shadow of the Earth on the moon. And we can all see that whenever there's a lunar eclipse. If the moon's visible, half the Earth will get to see. You don't need a telescope. You can just watch it with your eyes.
Yeah.
And you will see a circular shadow pass across the moon. And that shadow comes from the Earth. It's not a straight shadow. It's not a square shadow. It's not a line. It's a circular shadow. That's because, I would suggest, the Earth is round. Actually, the Earth is really an oblate spheroid.
An oblate
that's
spheroid?
That's me going a little bit too far for maybe this time of night. I don't know.
So you're off on your trip. How long are you away for?
5 days.
Okay.
Not long.
And have you got more shows coming up?
Yes, I'm actually off down to Winchester this coming weekend.
Beautiful.
And then I've got other stuff after that when I get back from the Arctic. If I get back from the Arctic, I might end up being a frozen block of ice.
No, don't. This will be the last. Well, we had Mark Thompson on the show last week, and you may have heard he's passed away. His igloo collapsed on him.
I can imagine.
No, don't.
Trying to super cool water in the Arctic or some such crazy stunt.
Hey, Mark, listen, anytime you want to come on and have a chat, you're more than welcome. Honestly, anyone that can inspire my two boys and keep them quiet for an hour, you are an angel in my eyes. Best of luck on your trip. I hope you raise loads of money, and I hope you come back safely, and we'll speak to you again soon,
Brilliant.
Mark.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye. Mark Thompson, I'll tweet his website and his Twitter handle in a minute if you're following me. Honestly, if you're stuck for a show during Easter will be coming up a few weeks away. You see that he's listed in your local arts centre at a weekend. Honestly, I cannot recommend it enough. It was absolutely brilliant. And sometimes I take the kids to children's shows and I kind of use it as a chance to close my eyes and meditate for an hour. I was hooked. I was totally hooked by it. It really is absolutely wonderful. Mark Thompson, thank you very much indeed. Right, the phone lines are open, dear listener. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Dear listener, I've got no phone calls lined up, and it's always a thank you, Mark. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's always, for me as a host, a tough gig opening the show with the guest, because I've noticed what you do is you all sit there and listen, which is wonderful, and you've lots of tweets and Periscope comments. Thank you. But then it takes a while for you to realise that you can phone up when I've got pretty much any guest on. But I know that you've told me you like to just sit there and listen to it, and we had some great questions from the kids and from Alan. But then afterwards, it's always like I've got to work twice as hard to try and get some phone calls. And do you know what? Tonight, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think tonight, I'm not going to work twice as hard to try and get some phone calls. I think tonight, I'm going to work half as hard to try and get some phone calls. So, here's a punt. I'm not going to do anything until we get some phone calls. It's a punt, isn't it? Literally got nothing on the switchboard. It may backfire spectacularly. You may have 2 hours and 15 minutes of nout. I'm going to sit here, and you can watch me on periscope.tv/Iain Lee, and wait for some phone calls, shall we? I'll give out the number from time to time, 0344 499 1000. You phone up, you speak to Kath, she'll take your name and number and give you a call back. 0344 499 1000. I'm not going to work twice as hard, I'm going to work half as hard. So let's see what happens. Evening, Hannah.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm alive.
Good. It's always a bonus.
Yeah. Lovely interview with was it Michael Thompson?
Mark Thompson, yeah, he's a delightful chap, and he's clever and he's funny and he's a really, really nice person, you know. So happy to celebrate his work. He's one of the good guys.
He's very enthusiastic about his work, as well, which I like.
Yeah, he is, and I wish I'd had science teachers. I had an English teacher who was like that, and I wish I'd had a science teacher who'd been like that.
Yeah. And it was really nice to hear about your little boy as well, being encouraged by his work.
Yeah, he's over the moon. We've got these DVDs, Bangos, the something or other, some BBC DVDs for children, and he keeps, Dad, come on, watch this. Look, they're going to make a go-kart go with a fire extinguisher. It's brilliant. Love it.
Yes, excellent. I see your beard has gone, well, part of it.
2/3 of it have gone. I was going to get, I've been feeling the last couple of weeks I want to get rid of it a bit. And then last night at Performance Ring, I just thought, I don't feel like I should have a beard. I was going to shave it when I got home, but I didn't have any razors. So, this afternoon, I dug out my clippers and I kind of shaved off the sides and I thought, oh, a goatee. I've never worn a goatee before.
Haven't you?
No, I never have. And so I thought, I've got nice big sideburns that you can't see because my headphones are covering them. And I've got a goatee. And I thought, I'll wear this for the afternoon. And then I thought, I'll come into work and I'll expect everyone to take the mick. And no one's taken the mick. And it kind of looks all right. So I might keep it. I've got a TV thing on Friday. I might keep it for that. And then next week I might shave it down to like a sort of... what's that group that did the YMCA? What was the name of that group? Village People. Yeah, I might grow it into a village. I might cut it into a Village People moustache for a few days. Then a dad tash, and then I'll get rid of it.
I think it suits you.
Yeah, it looks all right actually, doesn't it? You don't see many goatees. Oh, it's just there's nothing. It's nothing.
It can't be nothing. It's TV work.
It's TV work, but it's on a channel that my mum can't pick up. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not real TV.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair enough. Nice one, Hannah. Thank you. Hemo.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, thanks. I'm a bearded man.
Full face beard?
Full face beard.
I was until about 6 hours ago.
Yeah, I really liked yours. It was good.
Now I'm a goatee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have had a goatee. I think I've had every sort of variation you can do.
Hitler moustache!
Since I was 17. I've had a Hitler moustache for about an hour.
Yeah. I wonder if I would dare to come into work with a, as I like to call it, an Oliver Hardy moustache.
Of course.
Yes. I wonder, maybe, okay, we'll do the Hardy stroke Hitler moustache for a night. Kath's looking worried. It's like, you can't be a racist for facial hair.
It's just if you do the side parting as well.
Well, yeah, I'm not. Well, I've got quite a strong side parting. You can't be. I'm not a fascist just because of facial hair. I will not be dictated to. I will do the dictating.
I heard you saying the other week that you shave the whole. Well, it's just good to shave the whole thing off every now and then.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think it's. Fresh. I think it's good for your skin.
The last time I was clean shaven.
Yeah.
Don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Hey. Well, I've had this beard since I started growing it December 2015. Then I shaved it off last June and then grew it back immediately. So it's a year. It's a long time for me. So just nice to play around a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. My dad's got a goatee at the moment, but he's always been a full beard since I've known him, since I was born.
Are there any? Because beards are in, although I think they're on the wane slightly. Dad tashes are. I can't think of anyone famous that's got a goatee at the moment.
Ricky Gervais often has one.
Yeah, Gervais does. Has Hammond got one?
Hammond, yeah, he has a goatee. I don't really like his, though.
No. Well, you get the suspicion that he fills in the gaps with a Sharpie or something, don't you?
I think what's his name? Louis C.K. has one.
Okay, yeah, I'm aware, but not particularly familiar.
Lenny Henry.
Well, quite often, I'm not saying this about Lenny Henry, but quite often, when celebrities of an age grow a goatee, it means they've had plastic surgery, and it's to hide...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it means they've had a facelift. Not suggesting Henry for a second, although I would possibly suggest Tom Jones.
Yeah, I think you can see his around his lips.
Yeah, and you get... they grow a goatee just to kind of hide the scarring under the chin.
David Guest used to have it as well, didn't he?
David Guest. Oh, poor old David Guest. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Which I can't ever... I'm watching this Paddington Green programme, which is like this documentary docu-soap from about 2000. Okay. I'm obsessed with it. And there's a transsexual lady there who works as a prostitute, and she is upset with her chin and her nose, so she goes to have plastic surgery. And I'm fascinated by plastic surgery, Hemo, because I cannot... unless I got, like, horribly scarred or burned, I can't ever imagine why. I can't think I would ever get plastic surgery or a facelift or anything like that.
That's the thing. I've got a wonky nose from where I broke, and unless it ever caused me problems, I don't see why I need to fix it. It's just who I am now. And like you say, unless you get a big scar or something. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to. I've just. The last 6 months, I've just started to look a bit older. I just feel that I'm on the other side now, as it were. I was going up the hill, now I'm coming down the hill. But I just, we all stand in the mirror and we pull our forehead and we pull out, our eyes and stuff. But I just can't imagine ever thinking, do you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get my eyes done a bit. I'm going to go and get, the bags under the... I can't imagine why people would do that. I've got a whole thing at the moment. Have a quick guess at what age I am.
Oh, normally only...
Is it tough?
No, it's not tough. It's not tough because you're 41.
Nope.
Go on.
Way off.
Well, go on.
You've lost. I'm 29. I'm 30 this year.
Hey, well, I would. Here's the thing to my trick. I never give out someone's age unless I'm pretty sure. So if someone asks me,
I didn't mean to test you.
You press me, Emma. You press.
I've got a big thing this year. This is the year I'm sorting my, having a little body checkup. I've not been to the doctors for about 10 years.
Finger up the bum.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's going to happen. This is the year.
Do it. Get that doctor's finger up your bum.
Yeah, but I need to register with the doctor first.
You're not registered with the doctor?
No, I've never needed one.
You
really.
Can't because of all the bloody immigrants.
That's probably true, yeah. Don't say the B word.
You've never needed the doctors in your your 30 years of life?
No, and do you know what else? This is the true thing. I went to the dentist 2 weeks ago for the first time in 12 years.
Yeah.
I just never went to the dentist, and
I don't go. Like it. I grew up going to the dentist every 6 months, and now I kind of go like once a year, maybe once every 18 months, because all they'll do is they say you need to go to the hygienist. I brush my teeth regularly. I've only got one. I had my first filling last year, my first ever filling, and I was devastated to get it. I can't even remember what tooth it's in now, but I brush my teeth and they don't hurt, so I don't need to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. So yeah.
Same with opticians. I can read. I don't need to squint. I don't need to go.
There you go. That's it. No point putting a stress on it. That's what I think. And I've saved a lot of money.
Yeah, dentists are well expensive.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I when I was doing a show for BBC ages ago, and in the event of a rehearsal, I fell off the stage. It was about 8 foot high, and I knocked myself out for a second, and I chipped a couple of teeth. And the BBC, your licence fee, they said, go to a private dentist to get these fixed. We'll pay for it. You know, it's absolutely fine. Mm-hmm. So I went to a private dentist, and it was a chip in one tooth and a chip in another tooth at the back. And they said, yeah, it cost about 10 grand. I went, well, you what? They said about 10 grand. So I went to the NHS dentist and I said, look, is there anything you can do with these? And they went, yeah, we can fix that. I said, how much? They said, it's going to be about 100 quid. I went, all right, I'll do that. I'll do that then.
10 grand's ridiculous.
Yeah, filling in 2 chips. And then one of the repairs came out and it's like, well, it don't matter. It's only teeth. I can eat.
Exactly.
I can eat and smile and scowl, Hemo.
As long as you can do that, that's good.
Those are the things. Hemo, thank you very much indeed. I tell you what, let's try this for the next couple of hours. Normally when it's quiet on the phones, I work double hard to entice you to call in. And do you know what? I'm off next week. Got a week off. And I'm already, my brain is kind of slowing down ever so slightly. So tonight, I'm not going to work double hard to get you to call in. I'm going to work half as hard. And by that, what I mean is, I'll sit here, I'll do my time, I'll do the next 2 hours, don't worry, of course I will. But I'm not going to go through the papers. I've written down some stories from the papers. They can go in the bin. Let's get rid of them. Don't need the papers. We're not going to go through the papers. We'll just sit here and wait. And if you choose to call in, that will be brilliant. And if you don't choose to call in, well, it's going to be uncomfortable, isn't it? Not for me. Maybe not for you. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
I don't have anything to say.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Ian. I don't want to drag your show down because you're talking about science stuff and all the rest, but I want to ask you this question. You know when you play the Fall Guys theme tune?
Yes.
Now, there's various versions on YouTube, right? I was just wondering, the one I prefer is the one you play with the police siren in it, which seems to make the theme. If you play it without the siren, it's not as good.
The siren is integral to the siren is integral to it, I would imagine. I think I got my version. I think I bought it off of iTunes.
Yeah. So, on YouTube you can get a version without the siren, and it's no good at all.
No. Have you heard the B-side? Because it was released as a single. Have you heard the B-side to that?
No.
It's a song called Lust in a Lady Thighs. It's well worth going to having a listen to.
Right.
Okay.
What do you call it again?
Sorry?
What do you call it again?
Lust in a Lady's Eyes.
Lust in a Lady's Eyes, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Nice one, Hugh. Thank you, mate.
Okay, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello?
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 there anybody out there?
Yes.
Evening, Ian.
Evening, Chris.
So you're being slightly mellow this evening, then? You're not shouting like you normally do.
And you're still being as obnoxious as you always are?
No, I'm not. No. Don't. Okay, that's a terrible thing to say. So I've been obnoxious to you, have I? I take that as a yes.
Yeah, you have been, yeah.
Right, I was going to... I rang up to say I enjoyed your interview with Tommy Cannon.
Thank you. It was good, wasn't it?
Yes, I did.
I asked some good questions.
Yes? So, if I do come across as obnoxious, I'm sorry. But you do shout, don't you?
And you are obnoxious from time to time.
All right, my partner calls me everything. I don't need you to call me everything.
Well, I don't need you to critique my performance.
Oh, well, I don't critique your performance. I'll have you know.
You just did. You just did.
You know, if I've got a button on the radio, I can turn it over. But I choose to listen to you.
And phone up and critique. But if we're being honest, then you have been obnoxious in the past.
All right, I had a few glasses of wine, and yes. Okay, I know it's no excuse, but yes, I did. But I'd like to tell you a story, what happened to us this weekend, which I thought was really good.
Did you get robbed?
I didn't, for a change, actually.
Oh, okay.
I know, the amount of iPads I've had robbed off me, bloody hell, and I'll buy another one. I've had about... 3 I've had robbed off me. Gits. But I know. I went to an hotel with my partner this weekend, and she's got a guide dog. I'm tumbling along with my white cane. Tap, 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 tap. And, well, it sounds silly, I suppose. But I thought it was a nice gesture by the hotel, actually, that when we checked in, they said, even though we carry things for Ziggy, the guide dog, my partner's guide dog, it was a bed for the guide dog and a bowl for the guide dog in the room. I thought that, was quite good, actually.
That's nice.
Oh, you don't sound very impressed by that.
No, as I've said, normally, when the calls are a bit quiet, I work twice as hard. Well, tonight, I'm going to work half as hard.
Right. I don't know what to say now. Right. Okay, then. Do you play all these songs, like that guy who was the Fall Guy? Who was you talking about? The Fall Guy was the show. What was it? Because you play all these theme songs from old shows. Yeah, I've never heard. What was the song before? The Dukes of Hazzard. I've never heard you play that before.
I've never played it.
No, that's why I've never heard it then.
I've never watched it.
Why is that then?
Wasn't allowed to watch it as a kid.
Why?
I don't know. I imagine there was something on the other side that my mum wanted to watch.
Well, fair enough.
No, Cammy's texted him.
Just
tweeted.
Because I was...
Cammy's tweeted in. You lot need to have a look at Iain Lee. How you calling the blind Welsh bloke obnoxious? You're being a full-time bellend.
Come on. No.
That's a tweet.
No.
That's a tweet.
No.
No, someone's calling me a bellend.
I can stick up for myself.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cammy.
I live down in Wales, as you can imagine. Well, I don't think I've got a Welsh accent, actually.
It's quite well.
But I don't take offence from anybody if they, sometimes when they mean it seriously, yeah, don't take me for a fool just because I show kindness to people. Don't. Yeah, I will turn on you. Not you personally. I will. Like I've got some good neighbours. I mean, they look after me. Not I need to be looked after, but sometimes I get a little bit lost. I'm camping around with my cane, and my neighbour will call me all. How are you? How are you, Joe? And he'll call me this.
Who's Joe?
My next door neighbour.
Right.
And no, he sounds as he's a really nice fella. He is, but we can. It's insulting people, and it's having. Well, I'd like to say it's called banter, really. So if somebody calls me, I have a good friend which. I moved away from where I used to live to because they were all arseholes up there, really. Actually, sorry. And I go up there now and again. I haven't lived up there for about 30 years, actually. Oh, Christ, I'm 50 this year. I can't believe it.
I'm 44 this year.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's old.
No, only a youngster then.
Well.
I know, well, as far as I'm concerned, I've still got, when I go and get my hair cut, I say, can you cut some of the grey hairs out? I know, like, when we were in that hotel over the weekend, and the hotel we stayed in is close to a beach. So my friend partner said to me, "And right, we'll go down the beach." Right, okay, right. I know where I'm going. I got a little bit lost, which we always do, and I always make sure you got your phone on you, because we always get lost. Because 1 minute I'm in front of her, or 1 minute I'm behind her. Next minute, right, where are you? And it's. I don't do it on purpose. So we were in the car park of the hotel. The next minute, one of the chefs came out and he said, "Where do you want to go?" And of course, it was like a little sort of slip road down onto the sort of boardwalk onto the beach. So yeah, and so as soon as I knew where I was going again, then yeah. But then the stupid thing about it, Iain. Even though you think I'm obnoxious.
No, I didn't say that.
When we came, because it's little ramps going down onto the beach. So my partner's guide dog is called Ziggy, which a fabulous guide dog she is. So we got down onto the beach and leave her have a good run on a Sunday morning. Have a good run. It was raining, blowing. I'm trying to light a cigarette because I got a filthy habit.
Well, thanks for calling, Chris.
Yeah. So that was but just before you go, you was going to say...
I'm not going.
Why did you say thank you for calling then?
Because you're going.
I didn't say that.
No, I did.
Oh, so you're telling me to bugger off then?
Well, you want to stay on for the whole hour and 3/4?
No, not at all. No.
Well, how long were you thinking of staying?
I was just going to tell you, right? I know I sort of...
How long were you thinking of staying?
For the next minute or so.
Okay, the next minute. Go.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I lost the ramp coming back up, and we ended up in down the Gower in Swansea. So there you go. That's just... I think I can see. She tells me you can't see a bleeding thing. Yes, I can. So, there you are. That's my minute up, is it? So you can carry on shouting
again. You've got 40 seconds.
I'll just put it in silence now. Isn't it a song? What was that song? What was that song? Silence song.
Got 20 seconds left, Chris.
What was that silence song I said? I can hold silence as long as you want to.
You've not been able to once in this phone conversation.
Yeah, because you keep on interrupting me. You can carry on shouting again now, anyway.
That's your minute up, Chris. Good night.
All right, take care.
Tonight I'm working half as hard. Instead of working twice as hard, I'm going to work half as hard. It would appear from Twitter that you're not enjoying it. Why? Why are you not enjoying it? You want me to go through the boring stories in the papers that I've always jot down before the show to use as filler when there isn't anything interesting or fun to talk about? You want me to do that? You want me to tell you what I did at the weekend? Why? What would you get out of that? You want me to talk about my depression? Why? Why? If the silence and the gaps make you uncomfortable, well, that's up to you to fix that. Oh 0344 499 1000. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Isn't that funny?
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hello?
Hello.
Is that Iain?
Yep.
Yeah, I was surfing the radio, and I suddenly come across you in this silent mode, and it's totally entranced me. Because the radio is full of endless hype, people babbling on about rubbish. I thought, this guy's just put his foot on the brake there, and that's not allowed. So you've shattered everything but just by being silent. You've actually destroyed commercial radio. And you know what? Because it's so unusual and novel, I just couldn't switch you off. So I've been listening to you to see how long you can sustain it for before someone says, Iain, you're getting paid to do this. You're getting paid to be a gob and to talk, and silence is not allowed. Now, either you're a madman and you want to get sacked, or you've got a better job to go to. Or you've stumbled across a unique way of doing radio, which I've decided is you create space for other people. I mean, every presenter on the radio wants to dominate the conversation. They give you 2 seconds to say something, and they pour out their ideas and just drown you out. And if you make a fool of them, they just cut you off. But by being silent, you're allowing people to unwind on the radio. And it might work, but you probably have to try this, Iain, for a good length of time. I mean, a one-off won't do. I mean, this could be new experimental radio, totally avant-garde, or as John Lennon said, French for bullshit. But you could just keep that silence rolling, and people will ring up to fill the silence. Because there's one thing in the modern age that we cannot tolerate, and that's silence. Because we have to listen to ourselves then. We have to listen to our own mind, our own thoughts, our own hearts, our own feelings, and we start to panic a bit because we're so used to being bombarded by the media, by other people's ideas, that we've lost the habit of thinking for ourselves. But if you could create a whole, I mean, I'd love it. Instead of being called Talk Radio, call it the Radio of Silence. And if people want to come on and say nothing, but just commune with you in silence, and I wonder what would happen then. I mean, How long could we last for? I'm tempted to go silent myself, but you know what? It doesn't feel normal. It feels like we're stepping out into outer space, you know. And I like gravity. I like to be pulled back down to earth. I like to have some rock under my feet, you know. And on the radio, that's sound. Because if you kill the sound, what is it but space? Empty space. And it's a vacuum. And as we know, nature loads a vacuum. So we'll always fill it with something. So it's not you talking. It's going to have to be somebody else. But, and this is the sad part, you pick up the check, and all we get is a chance to speak. Now, I don't begrudge you that check, Ian, because obviously you're a professional guy, and you've got to where you are because you've got talent, and you've got your own show on a national radio station, and you know, people enjoy your show, obviously. But I think it's obligatory for you to speak and to create the discussion. I mean, I like listening to the newspapers, you know, because I don't read. Nobody reads newspapers these days. You go in a supermarket, you get these big bundles of newspapers, and nobody buys them anymore. So the only time I get to know what's in the newspapers is when I listen to the radio, and the radio host tells you what the headlines are and what the big stories are. Of course, you see them on the internet as well. But, you know, maybe you should just use a bit of silence and still tell us what's in the newspapers, because that's a public service you're providing there. And we're dependent on that, Ian. Otherwise, we won't know what rubbish is in the newspapers. Okay, Ian. Hello? Is there anybody out there? Have I been cut off? Goodbye.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Instead of doing twice the work, tonight I'm doing half the work.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, is that Ian?
Yep.
Hello, Ian. This is Ian from France.
Yep.
Are you well?
Okay.
Are you? I've been in combat with the Paul Joseph Watson Brigade, and found them to be a depressingly boring group of human beings. And it is difficult. So let's talk. There is a problem in society. There is a problem in society. I do not live in England, and yet I am England. My heart is England, and yet I do not live in England. People such as Paul Joseph Watson create great pain in my heart because they represent England, and that is not the England that is not the England that I know. The England that I know is a place of warmth and love and humanity and just and beauty. Of course, course, there is conflict. Of course, there are arguments. Of course, people fall out over trivial, nonsensical things. However, the Paul Joseph Watsons, the Nigel Farages, what's the name of the woman on your very own station? I can't even remember her name, which is probably a good thing. Hartley Brewer. They spew hatred into the ether, spew hatred into the universe. They convince us that the world is full of nothing but bile and hate, and that you are judged by your colour, by your sex, by your religion, by your belief system. Nonsense. We are love, we are hope, we are stardust, my friend. We are stardust, my friend. Each and every one of us, snowflake to a man. I'm a snowflake. I'm proud to be a snowflake. I'm proud to be a snowflake. I hope to die a snowflake. I will never believe their lies, their hatred, their bile, their non-stop rhetoric of destruction and division. I will never believe that. I love you, Iain. I love all around me. I radiate love. I receive love. Love is our future. God bless you. With love. Bye-bye.
There we go. That's that. It's funny, isn't it? Some of you are loving it and some of you are hating it. I haven't done anything for 20 minutes. And you've had, with Paul and with Iain, probably two of the most impassioned monologues that you've heard on the radio in a long, long time. It's interesting, isn't it? Lane on Twitter says, phenomenal stuff. Suzanne says, it's not comfortable to listen to. It's awkward and feels mean. What I think you are doing, dear listener, is you're filling in the silences with your own interpretation of what's happening. I'm not being mean. The three callers this hour have known what I'm doing. They phoned up voluntarily, so it's not mean. It's interesting Suzanne thinks it's mean. There are other people who don't like it. Tip-top photography. I like your show usually, but seeing you on Periscope not talking makes me feel sad. Why? Jamal, wow, you finally gone mental, mate? I don't know. Here's the deal. We're in now, so there's no backing out. We're committed to this. On nights when it's quiet on the phones, I normally work twice as hard. Tonight, I am going to work half as hard. We've got another hour and a half left. That might mean no one calls in for the next hour and a half. I don't know. But maybe we all need a bit of quiet. Maybe we need a little bit of thinking time. Use this wisely. Use it as thinking time. I'll give you the number. If you want to call him, you can. If not, you could use it as thinking time, or you could switch off early, have an early night. You could get angry. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want to do. 0344 499 1000. I've got stuff I can be doing, so I can sit here and do that stuff. That would feel odd for me, but I can do it. I've got stuff to do on the computer. And it may not, in inverted commas, work. I don't know quite what I mean by work. For something to work, you kind of need... there needs to be an end goal, doesn't there? There needs to be an achievement where you can say, well, I reached that achievement, it worked. I didn't reach that achievement, it didn't work. So there is no end goal to this. There is no achievement. There is no... I don't get a star at the end if I get what I want.
Hello?
Yeah?
Iain?
Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah?
It's Declan from Liverpool. Have you ever read a book by Iain Banks called Dead Air?
Is that the one... Remind me.
It's about a radio presenter, and he has a habit of having gaps, silence, which is radio death, really. But anyway, I'm a fellow manic-depressive bipolar sufferer, and I love his show. And I was reading some John Updike recently, and a paragraph that really resonated with me when he said, life robs us of ourselves, piece by small piece, until what is left
is somebody entirely different. Now, that sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? But something to think about, isn't it? What do you reckon?
I'm not bipolar.
Oh, sorry, but you do suffer from depression, and you do take metazapine, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, I just wanted to. Not a criticism. I just wanted to clarify if there was any confusion.
Right. Dead air. Anyway, Ian, I remember when you were on the 11 o'clock show on the telly, and Ricky Gervais was just a mere reporter, and I've gone off Ricky, but I still like you. And the only criticism I have about talk radio, I mean, I love George Galloway, I love James Whale, I love yourself, but why?
I dumped that, and I'll tell you why I dumped that. Because they own us. They pay my wages, they feed my kids, and I understand, you know, that it's a newspaper that's not to everyone's liking, and I understand the history of it with Liverpool.
Yeah.
But they're my bosses, you know, and they feed my kids, and so, you know.
I understand that.
You know.
I mean, I'm still listening.
There we go.
Even though I hate myself. Listen, Ian, lovely talking to you. Have a lovely night and a lovely weekend when it comes. You've got like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to go. Yeah, I'm just waffling now. Love you loads, Ian. Bye.
Ta-ta.
I am the most special ninja that you ever met. I do the bestest, the backflips ever, and I never bust a sweat. I once did a somersault and killed a man. I've got an amazing, wonderful wingspan. Yeah. Well, glad I got that off my chest. So, backflip out.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
It's Will here.
Hey, Will.
All right. Hey, you're very, very quiet. I didn't hear you, first of all. Are you miles away from the desk?
I'm reclining on the chair.
All right. Yeah, it is a little bit uncomfortable when you kind of do something a bit different and go really quiet, because I think people kind of get used to listening to stuff on the show and probably get a little bit worried that if your bosses don't like what you're doing, that you're going to get asked to leave. So they're probably a bit worried. So, have you seen anything in the media, or are you aware of the protests that are happening in this country at the moment in several places against the unconventional oil exploration and oil drilling? Okay, switch to monologue mode. There's recently been Balcombe as a oil exploration site in 2013, and there was quite a lot of media coverage of that, and a lot of people kicking off about the fact that, you know, they're trying to do this, and they've seen films of other places in the world where it's been happening, and the devastation that it's been causing, and the water pollution, and the air emissions, and this, that, and the other, and methane and stuff. So obviously, you know, with the help of social media, the word kind of got round. So people were a little bit more on the ball when it came to that, and there was, you know, gatherings of quite a few people at Balcombe, and then it all went quiet for a bit because they stopped doing what they were doing down there. But then they started up again recently at a place called Horse Hill, which has been nicknamed the Gatwick Gusher, and again, people are, people that are local to that, specifically local to that, along with a few other people from other areas, have come in and been campaigning against that and demonstrating against that, and basically trying to protect the area and protect the land and the water and protect the wildlife. And then they did a quick exploration to kind of gauge how much oil was under there, and then it's gone quiet for a while they were applying for various planning permissions and whatnot. But the latest one, one of the latest ones, you've got one up north, which is in Lancashire, which there's quite a lot of opposition to up there, mainly to do with the fact that the local democracy has been completely undermined by the government.
I'm going to be honest, Will, I'm a bit bored.
Okay. Well, it's quite. I'm not very good at monologues.
It's just, it just doesn't feel like a particularly, maybe important, but it doesn't feel like a particularly interesting.
Well, at least I got you to say something.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But, no, okay. Well, I mean, I was asking you if you were aware of it, and if you're aware of these camps that are springing up at these places.
It's still quite. It's just quite boring.
Okay, but you must understand how important it is that we continue to breathe air and have water coming out of our taps.
Important things can be dull.
Okay, but I'm trying to gauge the awareness to it, because there's not a huge amount of coverage in the media.
Well, I don't know about gauging the awareness, but the dullness factor has been gauged.
Okay, because I live fairly near to Leith Hill. I live about half a mile from Leith Hill in Surrey.
It's still dull.
Which is quite near to you. I mean, we're kind of getting towards your neck of the woods now.
It's still boring.
Have you ever been to Surrey Hills and Leith Hill and all those sort of places?
Nah.
Okay. Thought you might have taken the kids there or whatever. But yeah, it's if you look on a map, it says in great big letters over the top, AONB, Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty. And they're basically trying to turn it into an oil field.
Okay.
And all the locals are pretty up in arms about it.
Yeah, I can understand but it's a bit dull.
Okay. So, kids' TV from the 80s.
Thanks for calling, Will.
Bye.
Here we go, and he's gone. Instead of working twice as hard, I'm going to work half as hard. Alex Bellend, still listening to the show. He's my stalker. Right. Oh, why is he still listening? I don't understand. He's watching on Periscope. Oh, he's deleted that tweet. Luckily, I got screen grabs. Always get screen grabs. Alex left BBC Local Radio under a cloud and now spends his time interviewing little Jimmy Osmond and people like that, and it's great. For some reason, he doesn't like me. I don't understand why. Well, I don't understand why people don't like me. But there are people on the radio I don't like, and I just don't listen to them anymore, let alone tweet them. It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit weird. I'd hate to go to the police again. But, yeah. Yeah.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hello?
Yep.
Is that me?
Could be.
Light spilled through the crack in the curtain, bright, intense, catching the motes of dust that swirled in the air. Toby stirred. Eyes still closed, he stretched, legs uncurling slowly, arms raising from beneath the covers.
Nah.
Palms flattening against the headboard.
I don't think
as
so.
his spine cracked once.
I don't think so.
Twice. He rested again. Iain, keep going.
No.
Rested again.
I don't think so.
Keep going, Iain. Bear with it.
No.
He rested again.
No. I don't. No. Iain.
What?
No.
Why?
Well, because unless you're, Anthony Hopkins or Alec Guinness, people reading on the radio is the most tedious thing.
Oh God! Really?
Yeah, poetry.
The most tedious thing of all.
Yeah.
Is the sound of my Birmingham voice.
No, didn't say that.
Reading them a story.
No, I said it wasn't saying you specifically. I was saying unless you are those two actors that I noted, people reading poetry or prose is tedious.
Oh God!
And I'd rather have the silence.
Iain. I was so excited. I thought it was my moment.
No, it's not.
Honestly, I thought this is it. This will make me the next Stephen King.
Well, Stephen King was a writer.
Yes.
And you wrote this.
As am I.
No.
Sir. As am I.
Well, I'm sure
and
you are,
you
but...
are a broadcaster.
Yeah.
As I am a writer.
Right, okay. But no, I don't think we want to read it. We want it read on the air.
Oh, my heart is broken. But I will continue to listen.
I know.
I know you know. Which can we part on good terms? Please.
I think you should have left it.
May we part as friends. May we part at least as friends, sir.
I think you should have left it on the just on the one phone call.
Oh God. I knew that. God damn it to hell. I knew that. She told me that.
And this bit isn't working either.
Oh. Hang up.
Okay.
Oh, hello? Is that me? Hello?
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 Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, God. Sorry, no, I just got back from work. And
all right. What do you do?
So, I work in a shop.
Okay.
So I'm late to the party as usual. Oh, it's everything, but I've spent 3 hours packing biscuits and eggs, and I just wanted to ring in to say how wonderful Performance Ring last night was. Did you see it?
I tried to watch it, but I couldn't get it. It ended.
Oh, it was great. No.
Were you there?
Yeah, and I got up and had a go at comedy.
Oh, brilliant.
I think people laughed a little bit. I hope so, and I really enjoyed it.
That's great. Was that your first time?
No, second time. I did the first one in October.
Oh.
So I have done it twice now, and it was great. And I had a wonderful, wonderful night. But I've literally just got in, and the show seems a little tense. And obviously I don't know what's really happening. So, I'm Dana. Who are you?
I'm Rory. How are you doing?
Hi.
Yeah.
I've emailed you. Are you the one who...
I wanted pen pals and stuff, and I was kind of ringing in to say to people who had emailed me that I feel a bit guilty because I haven't got back to them, but I've been very busy. So I do mean to get back to the people who have emailed me.
I emailed you, and how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I've got to do a show tomorrow in front of 300 kids, so I'm a bit nervous about that.
But no, I'm good. And you were talking about biscuits there. Have you ever? Do you like biscuits?
I love biscuits, and that's the thing. Stacking biscuits.
Oh, right. But
you sit there.
I was thinking more about eating biscuits. What about? Have you ever done this? Have you ever eaten custard creams and bourbon biscuits in a bowl as if they were cereal with milk?
What, mash them up?
No, well, sort of mash them up, like not completely mash them up because then it's just going to be mush. But you know, like eat them before they become mush, as if they were cereal.
I haven't, but do you know what? I'm going to have to try that because that does sound quite good.
It does, yeah. It sounds, well, to be honest, it sounds better than it actually.
I like to be experimental in my food. Let's put it that way. I'd like to be experimental in my food, you know. So yeah, I will have to try that. But no, I'm trying to think. But what am I going through? I'm going through a phase where I'm putting Marmite in a lot of things.
Oh right, like what? Like peanut butter and.
No. Well, like so, if I have a bowl of beans, I'll put Marmite in the beans.
Oh, I've gone off.
Stir it all up, and it's great. A bit of Marmite. Marmite goes with everything.
Normally, I find it quite difficult to talk about food, but I'm getting better at it. I think I also have a problem with seeing people put food in their mouths. But,
no, and it's like people on the tube, people who are eating on the tube or walking and
in real life.
No,
not the tube.
Totally wrong.
Not real life. What? Sorry, dinner?
No, but, people walking and eating or sitting there and eating. No. There are certain places to eat. And when you're sitting on the Jubilee line, after 3 hours of stacking shelves of biscuits, and you've got someone shoving a Big Mac in there, and other burgers are obviously available, in their mouth, it doesn't look right. It's not a good look.
No.
I have to eat in the right place. I'm not good with eating just in general. But no, it's so fill me in. What's happening with the show tonight? Because it all seems a bit tense. Have I missed something?
He said he was. Oh, maybe he wants to.
Oh, so I had a great time last night, Iain and Kath. So I hope everything's okay. And I catch up. I listened. The Talk Radio website, has that feature where you can listen to the show in half-hour chunks. Have you heard that, Rory?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, I heard it.
What I do
work
is
very well on my phone, but it's.
So I came in this evening as there was a gentleman saying the word Balcombe, which I know is down south. I think it's in Sussex. So I know that I'll then start the show, and when I get to him saying that, I know I've listened to the whole show.
Oh, great.
I've got a system, so I do get to listen to the whole show, but I just listen to it backwards, which is a bit weird. It's a bit timey-wimey.
Yeah. Do you ever listen to any other shows on Talk Radio?
I don't, and that's really bad, isn't it? I probably shouldn't say that. But I listen to loads of podcasts, though. I'm a bit podcast heavy at the moment.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
You can cut the tone now, Ed. I'll have a water whenever you feel like getting me a water, Catherine. There's the glass. I'll explain. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. I'm just going through the tweets because I was in the other room. chatting. Right. So, this is what's happening. Monday's quiet nights for phone calls. They usually are. Normally I'd work twice as hard. Tonight I'm working half as hard. Some of you... Here comes my water. Thank you.
Do you want tea?
No. Just water. We've still got chocolate outside, but I'm not going to have it because I'll get clarty.
I can eat it.
You can have some of it if you want. Of course you can. Making some of you uncomfortable. I'm not going to apologise. Some of you enjoying it. I'm not going to congratulate myself. If you want the silence to end, you have to phone up. 0344 499 1000. We call you back. You come on. But don't just phone up and, you know, we've had a couple of calls that have been a bit dull and haven't really worked. And normally what I would do if a call was a bit dull and wasn't really working, I'd kind of jump in and help out. But have no calls lined up on the switchboard. I saw someone was calling in and then I think we had trouble calling out. So it could be could be a really awkward 55 minutes. Awkward is good. You know, awkward is awkward. No, I don't think awkward is an emotion. Is it an emotion? Is awkward? Let me see. What is awkward an emotion? Well, it's a feeling, of course. A feeling. Stupid. Awkward. Okay. Yeah, it's a feeling, isn't it? Feelings are good. Oh, the call was someone making fart noises. Huh? Really miss anything. I think there might be one or two problems with the people with Periscope because it seems to have frozen on my screen. I think you're there, but I don't think they can chat to each other. So, that isn't that funny? They can't chat to each other on Periscope. If you can, I certainly can't see it. That's quite good as well, isn't it? That's quite good. Oh 0344 499 1000. Well, no one's calling in. I've been sent a song for an album that I'm working on, so I'm just going to... Have a listen. Where did it go? It went in that folder. Oh, it was this. I need to download it. I know what the problem is. There's a loose connection in there. If I waggle it... Nope. If I waggle it, the noise changes. There's a loose connection in there. Hang on. No, it won't do it. It did it then anyway. It won't do it. But anyway, I think that's what it felt. It was anyway. See if this is. Let me shout for it.
Anyway, I think that's what it felt. Anyway, see if this is. Let me shout for it.
Someone's joined us.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Yep.
Is that you, Ian?
I suggest you turn your radio off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you, Ian?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, right, you didn't sound like it was you, like. Oh, that's right. I thought it was the fella, before you come on. How are you? All right, right?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm the fella with the chip in my arm, if you remember. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering, I've been listening to your show and all that, on and off, just little bits here and there, and I just phoning you up, to say, I'm feeling a little bit better, you seem to be feeling better, don't you? Because you with your medication and all that, you just have ups and downs and stuff. I've sort of forgot what I was going to say to you, it threw me a bit, then you come on a bit quick, but, all this stuff that was in my head, I did cut my arm the other day, and I actually found a wire in my arm, so it's not just in my head,
You seeing a doctor, Chris?
Well, I do see him, I haven't been to see him for a while,
I suggest you go and see your doctor as soon as possible.
Yeah, but I mean, he doubled me on me tablets. And
Chris, I'm going to say something to you.
Yeah.
That you will not believe.
Yeah.
Okay, but would you mind if I say it?
No, not at all. No.
You didn't find a wire in your arm. There is no chip in your arm. There is nothing like that in your body. Now, I know you don't believe that, but I have to. As a human being, I have to say that to you to ease my conscience, okay? I have to know that I have said to you that those things are not in your body. And it's what it is, it's a symptom of your illness.
Right. Well, can I just say one thing to you?
Of course you can, Chris.
Right. Well, if you get up on your computer now, if you print in RFID chip...
I'm not going to. Who do you... let me ask you one question on this. Let me just assume that what you're saying is real. Yeah. Who do you think put the chip in you?
Well, I got taught, because I can hear all voices talking in my mind all the time, and they said, one of these lads said it was. Now, I know some of these voices that I hear.
You're breaking my heart, Chris. You're breaking my heart. Because you're not well, brother. You're dangerously ill, brother.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Mate.
That's the thing, is I'm not, honestly. This is the whole point of it, this is the whole point, is I'm not,
Oh, mate. Please go and see a doctor, Chris.
Yeah, all right. But, I mean, this might sound madness to you, I ordered a told them...
Doesn't sound madness, it sounds sickness. Sounds illness. in the same way that cancer is an illness and asthma is an illness. And I know you don't hear me and you don't believe me, and that's fine because you've got your own reality. And I call you brother because you are a brother. You know, you're a man who is struggling with something really, really tough. And I hope that one day we'll speak and we'll laugh about this phone conversation. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, my arms blew up the other day. It blew up. And you could see where it blew up in like a round, like half moon shape, and you could feel the wires. Anyway, so just give me a little arm and neck, and you could. I'm not, you know.
You don't take cocaine, do you, Chris?
I mean, like I said to you last time, like, you know, I dabbled. So
Yeah. No. Well, when was the last time you took cocaine? If you don't want me asking, and we won't. This, you know, no one knows your surname, no one knows your phone number. No, we're not going to tell it. When was the last time you took coke?
Today, like.
Can I ask?
I've had a problem with, you know, with stuff on and off.
How much? How much have you had today? Couple of grams?
No. You know, £10 or something like that. You know,
Chris, cocaine makes us think that there are things under our skin.
Oh, I understand all that.
And some people think that it's bugs, and some people think that it's hairs growing under their skin, and some people think it's wires under their skin. And the thing is, to that person, it's real. It's 100% real.
Yeah.
And it takes someone outside of us to point out the insanity of what we're doing.
Yeah.
I know people. I know a bloke, right? I know a bloke who was taking shed loads of cocaine. It doesn't matter if it's a lot or not. And he had two things, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had nasty, wicked things like.
Yeah. The thing this guy had, right, was he could hear cats in the flat. He could hear cats walking around the flat.
Yeah.
And there weren't any cats in the flat. But he was convinced he could hear them. And the weird thing about the stuff you hear is it's more real than the stuff that you see. He was convinced there were cats in the flat. The other thing he was convinced about was he had ingrowing hairs under his skin in his cheek.
Yeah.
And he tore his face apart trying to get under the skin to get those hairs out. Tore his face apart. And when his girlfriend, I know this for a fact, when his girlfriend woke up the next day, she went, Jesus Christ, what have you done to yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm imagining you haven't got someone around you who can say, Jesus Christ, Chris, what are you doing to yourself?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm around people, but like you know, what I'm trying to say is like these things, like, you know, like I said to you, you know, these voices that you hear talking constantly, night, noon, you know, all the things that I read online, that and everything that happens through this thing, they even can throw smells around and stuff like that, and like electric, you know, like pinpricks. I know it sounds crazy to you. Like electric contortions in your feet and stuff like that, and all the stuff that comes, like, you know, it's you get it all, like, it's, you know, and the thing is it's not, you know, I have got problems, depression a little bit, you know, but it's far from that, like.
I'm going to tell you something that's a fact. Do you trust me?
Yeah.
You're sick. And I mean sick as in you are ill, and it doesn't always have to be like this. And there is an alternative. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean,
that's all I have to say, man. You don't have to live like this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but I'll just say one other.
Go on.
You know, like online it said, you know, you can order these rare earth magnets, neodymium magnets. So I ordered a magnet. You know, because it breaks the chip down. And when I hold it just above my skin, you can feel the magnet pulling like anything. You know, when you put two magnets together and it pulls, you know, that feeling. You know,
I do. The mind is very suggestible.
Pardon?
The mind is very suggestible.
Yeah, well.
I wish you the best of luck, man, and I really hope that one day, you know, I hope that whether I'm right or you're right, that one day we can laugh about this conversation.
Yeah.
And
I do feel fine in myself, you know, other than that, like, you know.
Don't cut your flesh anymore, Chris.
No, it was only a little nick. It
Don't
was
cut-
because my arm blew up and I just nicked it,
Don't
not
cut your flesh anymore.
Yeah.
That ain't going to sort anything. You're not a surgeon. Let a surgeon do that.
Yeah.
Sleep well,
I
Chris.
just thought I'd give you the call anyway.
I appreciate
Give you
it.
the call
We'll
like a
speak
week later.
We'll speak again soon, brother.
Okay, then, all right. Take care.
I mean, that's made me really sad. Really emotional. Also makes me think that doing this was, the holding back on the performance aspect of the show was the right thing to do, because if we'd have been going through the papers and doing the act, maybe Chris wouldn't have phoned in, and we wouldn't have got a glimpse into, I don't know if it's addiction, I don't know if it's mental illness, I don't know. But we got a glimpse into Chris's reality, and it's real for him. There is a chip under his skin. There are wires under his skin. Whether I believe it or not, that's his reality. His reality is there is a chip under his skin. Now, you and I, we make up our own interpretations of what is going on. But once you start cutting yourself, man, it's a slippery slope. Ed, let's go to a break, please.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Get rid of the music. We don't need the music.
Hello?
You're back for a third time. Why?
Well, initially it was to apologise for my performance on the second call.
Okay.
However, that has changed having listened to Chris's call, man, because that was so potent. That was so kind of raw and emotional. Whatever I was going to talk about is pretty irrelevant, because that guy is going through stuff that, Christ, to actually believe that there's things underneath your skin.
Well,
my uncle, I know that. My uncle hung himself, and prior to him killing himself, one of the things that he was complaining about was insects under his skin. And it was, exactly as you're saying, you're absolutely correct, and you're one of the few people I've ever heard talk about it, is this kind of cocaine psychosis, which is, so my uncle was taking so much cocaine, he believed that there were kind of creatures crawling underneath his skin. The family laughed at him. Nobody paid him any attention. The doctors didn't even really believe what he was talking about. And 20 years ago, he put a belt around a rat.
All right, we don't need. I'm always very cautious about going into specifics of how people take their own lives. No, that's fine.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that call was just such a breathtaking moment. As the adverts were being played, it's all I thought about. Just astonishing. One of the great things about this show, of course, is the fact that people can call and talk about absolutely anything they want. So my evening has been initially calling up and having a bit of fun, and then the second call was me kind of trying to self promote myself, and you quite correctly calling me out as kind of prepare the dump button as a Bullshine Meister, you know. And then you get a guy like that, and oh my God, you know, it really throws the whole thing into perspective. God, it's bamboozled me, and I apologise. The reason for the third call was to talk to you about music, because
I'm going to say, listen, I'm glad you've called in. Sure. But you've been on twice already, and now maybe call in another night to talk about music. I mean, I'll be happy to discuss that. And I think maybe tonight, I've got another caller lined up, but let's just maybe enjoy the silence and see if anybody else who's perhaps slightly reluctant to call in is encouraged to pick up the phone during the silence. How about that?
Indeed.
I look forward to talking about music to you later in the week.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Ta-ta. Chris?
Hi, Ian.
Hey.
Hi, I'm a new caller. I've never spoken to you before, but I've listened to you for ages, and I'm watching you on the Periscope. And what a brilliant show. Loving this. It's what makes you unique. And I've tweeted you again this evening and said how great I think it is. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but yeah, love you, man. Just wanted to say I listened to all of your Rabbit Hole podcast yesterday, and how fantastic.
Do you mean the ones with? Do you mean the ones in front of the audience, or the BBC ones?
The ones in front of the audience.
Beautiful, yeah, that's the one. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Thank you.
They're brilliant. I've subscribed, and I'll keep unsubscribing and subscribing and doing all like you say. And you're just a genius, mate. I mean, I'm going to come down and see you one time. And have you got any other locations lined up other than London?
We're in. Whereabouts are you, Chris?
I'm in Suffolk.
Oh. We've got one for Manchester in May, and yes, we are looking around. We don't want it to be too London centric. So while we've got a nice venue in London, we are also looking for other venues around the country. So if there is a venue near you, Chris, that has good Wi-Fi and can seat anywhere between 60 and 100 people, we'd be very interested.
Excellent. Well, I'm on the local council in our area, and I actually manage the village hall here. So. I could probably get you a very good price, and there's quite a lot of people live around this area, so it'd be great to have you here.
Chris, send me an email. That'll be lovely.
I will do. Thank you very much, but loving your show, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And loving the goatee, by the way.
There we go. I could see us in a village hall. Some bunting. I like village halls. There's a feeling in village halls. I love going to things in village halls, and there is a feeling you can only get in a village hall or a church hall. When I say church hall, I don't mean the church. I mean the kind of hall that is normally round the back, and they rent it out for AA or theatre groups or women's institutes. And there is a real feeling you can only get. And also, I still feel, at the age of 43, going into the kitchen areas of village halls and church halls, I feel really naughty. And there must have been something as a kid. I must have gone into a kitchen of a village hall as a kid and got told off, because I go in now. I go to village halls fairly regularly for all kinds of things. And I feel really naughty going in there. It feels wrong. It's very strange. Would love to perform in a village hall. I like the way he said as well, there are lots of people round here. Well, lots of people in Manchester, but we've only sold 30 tickets. So, you know. Will you do a break now, Ed? Okay, let's have that break now. Thank you.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Not a genius at all, and that's not me being immodest. I'm not. Everything I do is nicked from somewhere else. You can trace everything back. But some of you saying some very kind things on Twitter. unconventional but strangely enjoyable. That's nice. And then you get the other side. Dave's that was from Daniel, and then Dave says, you sometimes do things on the radio that just don't work. ... What I'm doing tonight can't work or fail because there's no end goal. You can only succeed or fail if there is an end goal. Is there a point to this? There is no point to this. At the end of this, I don't get like a trophy, to show that I succeeded, or have a trophy taken away from me to show that I've failed. My sister's just said something. Here we go. I don't remember this, Joe, so I would like to have a conversation about this. Isn't it funny? Twitter. She's listening in New Zealand, and she can talking about the church hall. She says because kids weren't allowed in the kitchen at the church hall on the Britwell, which is the estate we grew up, where Mum used to take us to playgroup. I don't remember. I don't remember going to that, Joe. I don't remember. I don't remember going to that. I'm assuming it was near the Wentworth shops, which have moved now. Wentworth shops have moved. Don't remember. That reminds me, I've not been to see my mum for ages. I must go this week. Probably not tomorrow because I'm seeing my therapist. What am I doing Wednesday? I think Wednesday would be a good day. Not been to see Mum at all for a long time. That's poor. If you've just tuned in, you're very welcome. Great start to the show. We had Mark Thompson, a scientist who does... Anyway, we'll go out as a podcast. And a few of his fans have carried on listening to this and are very confused by it. Just the phones are a bit quiet. Mondays are a bit quiet on the phones. And normally when we're quiet on the phones... I'll work twice as hard to generate phone calls. And I had some topics, and I what I do is I go through the papers and I write down stories that kind of grab my attention that I can have an opinion on, and you might be interested in hearing my take on. But really, I only use... Well, some nights I want the whole show to be me just going through the papers because I like that. But more often than not, I write these stories down because it's just a bit of filler, really. And I just thought tonight, instead of working twice as hard as I would normally do to get the calls, well, let's work half as hard. And if there are long, uncomfortable silences, so be it. It's 25 to 1 on a Monday night, Tuesday morning. Flippin' heck. Are we still February? I think we are. Supposed to be, I think spring is today or tomorrow, I'm not quite sure, but it's, it's wet. It's February. Last year was crap. This year's not been much better so far. 25 to 1 on a Monday night, Tuesday morning. Flippin' heck. Can you think of a lonelier time? Really? You'd be hard pushed. So we might not get any phone calls for the next 25 minutes. That's not a bad thing, necessarily. If you want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in. Of course you are. My sister said it was opposite the Wentworth shops. I remember where it was. I think you once got in a fight over a ride-on tractor where you loved to climb up on the stage. I think I remember. I also remember Dr. Mason. That was our doctor. I've got a feeling Dr. Mason would smoke cigarettes when we were there. I think. I could be wrong. Certainly had an ashtray on his table. So look, we've got 23 minutes. I bet we won't get any more calls. If you do want to call in, 0344 499 1000. That's the phone number, 0344 499 1000. And even if you want to call in and just sit in silence with me, you'd be very welcome. You'd be very welcome. Yeah, it's up to you. You might have all switched off. I don't know. I don't know. There may only be 5 people listening, and they're the people that are tweeting the nice things. I don't know. We're going to have an ad break in 1 minute 40 seconds exactly. So let's just enjoy that silence for 1 minute 40. Then, Ed, when we get to 12:40, you hit that ad break. I'm just going to go through some things on the computer.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hello? Iain?
Hello?
Is that Iain?
No, it's not, I'm afraid. Who's it?
It's Paul from Liverpool.
Oh, Paul from Liverpool. Hi, I'm Joseph from London. Nice to meet you.
Are you just calling the station?
Yeah. Oh, I loved that silence so much before the ad break. I thought I'd join in, but we've broke it now, haven't we?
Yeah, the problem with silence is you can only frame it, and then it's gone.
Oh, my.
We can recreate silence, you know. But only for a moment.
Oh, that was a good one. Nah, I felt that.
I used to listen to Radio 3, right, when it was a good station. Yeah. And they used to have like 3 seconds of silence on. And it was the only 3 seconds of silence that I can remember on the radio. And I used to think, wow. Iain tonight.
3 seconds is a long amount of time, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, listen, Iain tonight has done something which I've been listening to the radio for 50 years. I've never heard this before.
I haven't. I must admit, I haven't caught any of the show so far. But I tuned in 5 minutes ago and thought, oh, a bit of silence, lovely.
No, he was actually silent for 1.5 minutes. I bet that's made a world record for a commercial radio station.
Yeah, good on him. Good on him, wherever he is.
What's your name again? Joseph, did you say?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Which part of London are you from, Joe?
I'm in Herne Hill at the moment, near Brixton. Between Brixton
I
and
know, Brockwell Park, yeah. I've lived in Brixton for a time.
I live, just by Brockwell Park.
I lived in Brixton in the 1980s. It was a hairy place in those days. It was really hairy, man. It was dangerous, man. But I liked it, though.
So are you in Liverpool now?
I tried to leave Liverpool, but it's just an amazing place, Liverpool. There's nowhere like it on earth, you know.
Oh, I've never been.
You've got to come, Joe. There's a spirit in Liverpool that is unique in the world. The people are so friendly here, man. And they're just lovely people, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a city as well.
You've inspired me.
Yeah, it's a city. It's a big city, but it's like a little village. Everyone talks to each other. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. That sounds...
What do you do in London, Joe?
I'm a guitarist. I'm a musician and I teach. And, Do
you write your own stuff, or do you just...
Yeah, I dabble. I mainly
Are you in a band, like?
I do a bit of session stuff. I'm a classical guitarist, and I do different styles.
Classical guitarist? Yeah. You know what? I wanted to get into music. I've always loved music, man. But I couldn't crack a guitar. I just couldn't crack it. It just used to wind me up, you know. Some of my friends pulled it off, and it was fantastic to hear them. But how old are you when you started?
Oh God, 7, I think, and I'm 29
that's
now.
The age, isn't it? That's the age. Yeah.
So do you play anything?
Well, you know, I like painting and artwork. I do a lot of drawing and stuff. I write a lot. I'm quite creative, but I can write lyrics. But I can't seem to... I've never had some reason I've never cracked a musical instrument.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got to be in the blood.
I'm terrible with everything else, to be honest. I mean, I can't write lyrics. I can't paint. I stick to playing guitar.
Well, would you play bass or do you play lead?
I play lead. I play rhythm. I mean, I've played bass a bit, but not massively.
When you say classical, do you mean like sort of Spanish music, that Spanish guitar?
Yeah. So stuff from
beautiful, man.
Like the 14th century onwards, I guess.
I bet people love you when you pick up that instrument and start playing.
People do, except maybe the girlfriend when I keep her. Yeah.
What did you say about the girls there?
Play it all the time. Yeah. It can
do you ever go to... I used to go to a place called Girona in Catalonia, and they used to have a classical guitar sort of festival there, you know. And it was just amazing to be there, you know. Have you ever been to something like that?
No, I haven't. I've been meaning to go to Andalusia and catch the flamenco festivals that they have there, because they're quite special. But I never got around to it yet. So one day soon.
Is that a distinct sound in Andalusia?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have a lot of the kind of more classical Spanish stuff, but flamenco is massive down there. So yeah, it's a big...
I go to Spain on holiday a lot, at all sorts of different places. And when they get up on the disco, the Spanish, to dance, I mean, we dance like, you know, left, right. They start doing flamenco at the disco floor. All the Spanish do it.
Really?
It's embarrassing. You feel like an idiot when you dance in English style and they're doing these amazing flamenco twirls and stuff, you know.
All right, guys, listen, I enjoyed earwigging your conversation. Thank you, Paul and Joseph. I'm going to move on because we've only got a few minutes left and there's a couple more calls, but I really enjoyed that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you very much. Cheers. I enjoyed that. It's not often I get to earwig a conversation. Wasn't it interesting?
What do you think about stem cell research?
Oh.
So answer my question.
Okay. Someone's got...
Who do you go gay for?
Well, it used to be Duncan Bannatyne, then it was Jose Mourinho. I don't know who my gay choice would be now.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
I would touch a man's willing.
Okay, I would if the situation arose. Thank you, John.
Hello.
You're on the air.
How are you doing? What on earth did I just hear? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. All right. I tried to learn to play the piano. Right. Tonight. For a few hours. And I was just wondering whether some people just cannot play and it's physically impossible and they'll never learn.
I learn how to make a chord on a piano. And once you know how to make a chord on a piano, you can play all of the chords. It's really easy.
Okay.
Do you know what the middle C is?
I learned to read all the notes today, yeah.
All right, so the middle C is the white note before the two black notes. So there are two black notes and then a space, and then there's three black notes.
Yeah.
So the white note before the two black notes is the C, right? And if it's in the middle of the piano, that's the middle C, right? So that's a C. So you get your thumb, you put it on the C. You then count 4 notes, including the black notes. So it's black, white, black, white. Yeah. Peter Pointer goes on that one.
Yeah.
Right? You then count 3 notes. So it's white, black, white. Your middle finger goes on that note. That's a C chord.
I got that, but
That's a great trick. Once you know that, the possibilities are endless.
But what I'm struggling with, right? So I've just chose a song to try and learn, right? And I can play with my right hand, and then you do the bits with your left hand. But I cannot do them together. As soon as I try, one will stop, and I just can't do either. And I was trying it for hours, and I'm just thinking, maybe some people just can't.
The separation is difficult. I can do a very rudimentary... Dum, 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 dum. I can do a very rudimentary, slightly out of time bass thing with the... What I do is I bash away at the chords and just bash away at the root notes with the left hand. That's all. If I'm having a sing-along with my boys, that's all I need.
Well, that's what I'm trying. Even the really, really basics, and I'm just thinking, am I wasting my time?
Don't worry about doing clever stuff with the left hand. Just bash out. Suppose you're playing a C chord. Bash out. Stretch your thumb and your middle finger with the left hand, and just bash 2 C notes down the left end. That's all you need. That'll fill out the sound. I don't know what your end purpose is. That's all I need, and it makes for great entertainment.
Trying to play the entertainer. Maybe not the easiest to start with.
Yeah, good luck with that. Oh, good luck.
That's what my daughter said.
Yeah, well, no, well, you know, well done for having a crack at it.
I thought I'd give it a try.
You not got your piano there, have you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's downstairs.
Could we have a listen?
All right then. Yeah, I'll go get it.
Go on, we'll have a look. We've got 3 minutes. So go on, the end of the show's yours.
All right.
Apt that we'll be listening to the entertainer.
Okay.
I'll put my shoes on.
It's going to sound awful. I've only been trying for a couple of hours. I'll try not to wake my kids up. Yeah, still here. I'll have to move the phone away from the piano, will I? Can you hear me?
Yep.
My missus is watching on Periscope. Yeah.
Yeah. Turn it on. Turn it down.
Oh. She started to write some notes down, but I've... Okay, you ready? This is all I've learned so far. That's it. Only with the right hand.